Good afternoon. My name is Yuzuka Sakuma. I fly Embraer 170 and 190. Also, I'm a deputy chief editor of the Aeronautical Information Manual Japan.
And my name is Takayuki Yoshida, a former air traffic controller. Currently, I am a CLM instructor at Aero Asahi Corporation, which operates business jet and helicopters. Thank you.
And today we talk about pilot-controller communication loop. And this communication loop is an important concept for avoiding pilot-controller communication error. And this is the oldest diagram of communication loop I could find, which was in a document published in 1996 in the United States. The basic concept is controller sends an instruction, the pilot reads back, then controller hears back. And in 2011, we published a booklet named ATC Communication Handbook to prevent runway incursion, both in Japanese and in English. In the booklet, we strongly emphasize the importance of adherence to this communication loop procedure, since it turned out that deviation from standard pilot control communication loop procedure increased the risk of runway incursions. In the booklet, we thoroughly studied the incidents caused by pilot control communication errors, which took place in Japan between 2007 and 2009, including but not limited to those serious incidents that were investigated by Japan Transport Safety Board. If you are interested in it, please check the website. It's still on there, and you can also find the movie version on YouTube. Now about a decade passed, so we included the essential part of the booklet in the latest version of Aeronautical Information Manual Japan, which is also available in English. The pilot controller communication loop procedure has not changed a bit the last 10 years. So then what has changed? The operational environment has changed. The number of international flights operated by foreign operators increased significantly, and this is why I'm talking here in English today. We definitely need cooperation of foreign airline pilots flying to Japan to reduce communication-related incidents and prevent accidents. Also, the cockpit culture may have been changed. Some company adopted multi-crew cooperation policy, like Mr. Yoshida is teaching. So today, we are going to have a look at those serious incidents caused by pilot control communication error after 2009, and discuss how we could have avoided such incidents by applying this communication loop procedure. And this is the contents, table contents. First of all, we review what a pilot control communication loop is and how it works, or how it should work. After that, we are going to study all 5 serious incidents that were caused by pilot control communication errors between 2010 and 2019 in Japan, and discuss how we can avoid those errors by utilizing pilot control communication loop procedure. Then, conclusion. Now we review how pilot control communication loop works. We are going to use almost the same figure as one in the section 291 of Aeronautical Information Manual Japan. For single pilot operation, the controller transmits an instruction to the aircraft using correct phraseology, or if there is no such phraseology applicable, using general term which seems to be most appropriate. The pilot listens to the instruction and reads back what he understood, or if he or she did not understand any part of it, just says, "Say again," to the controller. The controller hears back what the pilot has read back. This hear back by the controller is a very important part of this loop. And this word hear back has a relatively long history in the United States since 1980, as long as I know. Without controller's hear back, pilot's read back is quite meaningless, since the error cannot be corrected even if something goes wrong. It is quite usual that a controller thinks about aircraft B when he or she is hearing back readback from aircraft A. But it is his or her duty to say negative. I didn't say that, if the readback contains something incorrect. When for the dual pilot operation, two pilots, pilot flying and pilot monitoring, have to comprehend the controller's instruction independently. When the pilot flying clearly understands the instruction, he or she acknowledges by saying "Roger" to the pilot monitoring. If pilot flying does not understand the instruction, he or she has to order pilot monitoring to request retransmission of the instruction. The most important point of the dual pilot communication loop is the pilot flying and pilot monitoring. They have to be independent of each other and must not discuss each other what the controller has said. So if there is any concern, they have to check it with controller. Then pilot monitoring reads back the instruction on the radio. If one of the two pilots thinks his or her comprehension is insufficient, pilot monitoring has to request the controller to send the message again. When the pilot monitoring reads back the instruction, pilot flying has to monitor the readback by pilot monitoring. This is what we call hearback by PF. And this is when pilot flying interrupts pilot monitoring's duty. If his or her comprehension differs from the readback, pilot flying should not say, it's wrong. But he or she has to order pilot monitoring to confirm the instruction again with the controller. After the pilot monitoring successfully read back the instruction and the controller heard back the readback, the pilot flying tells the pilot monitoring what he or she has understood. This is what we call verbal verification. And if the pilot monitoring becomes suspicious about pilot flying's comprehension, then he or she has to confirm the instruction with the controller again. This is when pilot monitoring interrupts the pilot flying's duty. Again, pilot monitoring should not say, I think controller says such and such, but he or she simply has to request confirmation of the instruction. Now let's go to the background. Here we have the number of accidents and serious incidents related to the air traffic controls, which took place in Japan in the last 20 years. We divided them into first 10 years and last 10 years, and also categorized them into 3 large groups. And here is a simplified communication loop. The first category of the incidents is those caused by controller's error. Controller issued wrong instruction. And second one is those caused by pilot's error. Pilot received correct instruction correctly, but failed to comply with it. The last one, but not least, has something to do with communication. Controller issued a correct instruction, but the pilot did not receive it correctly. And in the last 20 years, 32% of ATC-related accidents and serious incidents were caused by communication error. This means the third of ATC-related accidents and serious incidents could have been avoided by some other person than the person who made the mistake in the first place. And in Japan, there were 5 serious incidents caused by communication error from 2010 to 2019. And we are going to have a close look at here today. All of them were runway incursions. 3 unauthorized entry to runway and 2 unauthorized takeoffs. And actually, about 3/4 of all ATC-related accidents and incidents, here about I think 38 accidents or serious incidents in the last 20 years were classified into runway incursions. Before we look at these incidents, we have to keep in mind that we are not going to analyze who was the first one who made a mistake. We are human beings, and everyone can make a mistake. Therefore, we are going to discuss who could have corrected that error and where he or she could have cut the chain of event and stopped that incident. And it is basic idea of a pilot control communication loop procedure. And even if someone makes a mistake, some other person can correct it. And in this presentation, call signs of aircraft which mistakenly perceive the controller's instruction are modified to first air call sign, and which does not exist in the real world, and they are shown with red. The traffic which was affected by the erroneous behavior of fast air is modified to global call signs, and they're shown with green or blue. Also, the call sign of controllers are modified to Yamato Tower and Yamato Ground, respectively. Now, incident number 1. The airport was in VMC, but the visibility was not that good due to snow. So the ILS runway 34 approach was in use. And the controller had to protect the glide slope signal here. So fast air 141 international flight from West Apron was routed to Whiskey 8 instead of end of runway, so that it does not have to cross the GP hold line. Controller wanted fast air 141 to hold short of runway, but fast air misunderstood the instruction and they entered the runway. The arrival aircraft Global 3500, the blue one here, made a go run at 300 feet.
First air 141, how about Whiskey 8 intersection departure when the 300 at 12?
First air 141, accept.
Roger, first air 141, taxi via Charlie 4, Bravo to Whiskey 8.
Taxi via Charlie 4, then Bravo, Whiskey 8, first air 141.
First air 141, taxi to Whiskey 8, contact tower 118, decimal 4.
Taxi via Whiskey 8, contact tower 1184, first air 141.
First air 141, Yamato Tower, report when ready.
First air 141, ready.
Roger, hold short of runway 34 via Whiskey 8.
Runway 34 via Whiskey 8, first air 141.
Global 3530, go around due to traffic.
Global 3530, go around. First air 141, confirm clear for takeoff.
First air 141, negative. I said you hold short of runway 34 via Whiskey 8 due to inbound traffic.
Oh, I'm sorry, I heard line up. So what do you think? Maybe the suggestion of intersection departure affected situational awareness of pilots, and they might have thought that they were going to depart without delay. However, this is what we should focus on. The controller said, hold short of runway 34 via Whiskey 8. And the pilot just read back, runway 34 via Whiskey 8. Does this make any sense? Maybe yes, maybe not. According to JTSB report, on or at should have been used by the controller to issue a hold short instruction instead of via, which is a term usually used to instruct a taxi route. If a controller wants to specify a taxi route, a hold short instruction must be separately issued. So step 1, instruction had to be improved. Pilot monitoring simply answered runway 34 via Whiskey 8, but if he was confident that, with that they were clear to enter the runway, he should have said something like lining up. So step 4 was not correctly performed. The responsibility does not solely lie with pilot monitoring. Pilot flying should have monitored the readback by pilot monitoring to check that it is the same as what he was going to do, which is step 5. pilot monitoring only said runway 34 by Whiskey 8, which is not clear enough, and the pilot flying should have ordered pilot monitoring to confirm the instruction with controller. The controller also failed to request pilot's readback of hold short instruction, or failed to reissue hold instruction, even though the readback did not clearly contain the words hold short. Therefore, step 6 was not successfully performed. In this instance, there were 4 steps out of 7 with which we might have stopped this aircraft entering the runway. After this incident, Japan's Civil Aviation Bureau published a policy that pilots shall read back all hold short instructions without omission. The Japanese controller will instruct a readback of hold short instruction if any part of it was omitted by a pilot. Next incident took place on runway 06 right of an international airport. The controller was planning the departure of Fast Air 450 between 2 arrival aircrafts, Global 1720, and the green one, and Global 8519, the blue one. So the controller instructed Global 8519 to reduce speed, but it was too heavy to slow down. They had only little stall margin. Then the controller changed his plan and decided to have Fast Air 450 depart after arrival of Global 8519. Controller instructed Fast Air 450 to hold, but Fast Air 450 confidently entered the runway, and Global 8519 was forced to go around. Why did Fast Air 450 enter the runway? Actually, there was a good reason for Fast Air 450 to make such a mistake, and this is what happened.
Global 8519 reduced to minimum approach speed for departure.
Roger, this already 162 knots is minimum.
Global 8519, Roger. Global 1720, runway 06 right, clear to land. Wind 170 at 4. If possible, after landing, take Alpha 7 for departure.
Runway 06 right, clear to land. Pick up Alpha 7 if available, Global 1720.
Fast Air 450, hold position. Expect departure after next arrival 5 miles.
Position and hold for Fast Air 450.
Global 1720, contact ground 121.6. Thank you for cooperation.
Contact ground 116, Global 1720, you're welcome.
Global 8519, runway 06 right, clear to land.
Global 8519, clear to land, runway 06 right. Request wind.
Global 8519, disregard, go around, follow missed approach procedure. Departure traffic is entering runway.
Inside, going around for departure traffic. If you're old enough, you may know the term taxi into position and hold, or just position and hold, which used to be a standard phraseology for instructing an aircraft to line up and wait on the runway. This old phrase position and hold had been used in the United States until 1 year before this incident happened. Japanese controller did not realize that the phrase hold position was that misleading for Fast Air crew who flew from United States, and told Fast Air to hold position just when the Global 1720 was passing in front of Fast Air. And the pilot monitoring of Fast Air read back position and hold. So how could we have avoided this incident? First, if controller said hold present position or continue hold over runway 06 right instead of just hold position, that may have avoided confusion. So this is step 1. The pilots thought they should taxi into position and hold, and they read back position and hold. So in this case, they did read back what they thought was right. In that regard, step number 4 perfectly completed. So now it's controller's turn to correct it. He should have heard it back carefully. The order of words was different from what the controller said, and the meaning was completely opposite. Step number 6, hearback by controller has something to be improved. The next incident was partly influenced by environment. The controller was holding his headset by his hand, and this resulted in producing some pop noise when he transmitted his instruction. The pilot made a readback, but this readback on tower frequency was masked by the voice on the ground frequency, since the controller was listening to it from the speaker instead of his headset.
First year 2046 Yamato Tower, hold the short of runway 18, report when ready.
Line up on the way, the runway 18, report when ready, fast air 2046. Tower, fast air 2046, we are ready.
Standby, break, global 01, go around, follow missed approach procedure.
Roger, make a go around, global 01. Of course, the controller should have used his headset, but we are not discussing who did something wrong in the first place. We have to be resilient. Even if someone sends unclear message on the radio, we have to be able to deal with it. If pilot notices some noise while he is listening to an instruction, he or she has to confirm it with the controller. Pilot monitoring should have confirmed or requested the controller to send an instruction, instead of just saying he was lining up. The controller could not hear it back clearly, since the readback was masked by the voice from other speaker. In that case, he should have requested the pilot to read back the instruction again, or he should have sent whole short instruction again. So in this instance, step 4 and step 6 were not successfully performed. Now let's go to the next incident. In this incident, Global 1694, the green one, on the runway 16, and Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India, a helicopter on the taxiway Alpha 5, were both waiting for takeoff clearance. The controller issued immediate takeoff clearance to the Global 1694. Then both the Global 1694 and the Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India read it back simultaneously. The controller could not notice that Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India mistakenly received the takeoff clearance, since the readback by the helicopter was blocked by the readback made by original receiver Global 1694. Global 1694 noticed that Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India took off from runway taxiway Alpha 5 and was crossing over the runway. So Global 1694 rejected takeoff, and another aircraft, Global 610, made a go-round. Was on the 0.8 mile final of the runway 18, and the controller instructed Global 610 to go around, but the Global 610 landed on the runway. Yamato Tower, Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India, good afternoon. Alpha 5 ready after airborne right turn cross runway Kerama.
Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India, standby. Global 1694, wind 210 at 12, runway 18, clear for immediate takeoff.
Runway white, clear for immediate takeoff, Global 1694, and at the same time, right turn approve immediate takeoff, Alpha 5 Juliet Alpha Hotel Echo Lima India.
Global 610, 737 rolling, runway 18, clear to land, wind 200 at 12.
Clear to land, Global 610, 1 mile on final.
Roger.
Global 1694 rejected takeoff, helicopter ahead of us. So what is the point? According to Japan Transport Safety Board, the pilot flying of this helicopter was not really sure that the takeoff clearance was aimed at him. So he should have ordered the pilot monitoring to confirm the clearance with controller. The pilot flying did not say Roger to the pilot monitoring, which is step 3. Nor did he confirm the clearance. Instead, he assumed that pilot monitoring was right. This is very common human behavior, since the clearance was immediate takeoff and they were thought to be under extreme time pressure. Comprehension of clearance or an instruction by pilot flying, pilot monitoring should be independent of each other, and pilot flying should not substitute his part of comprehension by just monitoring or cheating what pilot monitoring reads back. In this instance, step 2 was substituted by step 5. The last one happened on the same runway as incident number 4. There were 3 pilots in the cockpit of fast F1332. The first officer was in the right front seat, and second officer was in the observer seat, and the second officer was on the radio communication duty. Fast F1332 lined up on the runway 18. The controller issued a clearance to cancel altitude restriction previously imposed on fast F1332. Then the pilot flying, the captain, suddenly released the brake, applied takeoff thrust, and started takeoff roll without receiving a takeoff clearance. There was still an arrival aircraft on the runway, Global 8570.
First Air 1332, confirm ready for departure.
Affirm, Fast Air 1332.
First Air 1332, roger, runway 18 at Echo 0, line up and wait.
Line up and wait, runway 18 at Echo 0, Fast Air 1332.
Global 8570, turn right Whiskey 6, contact ground 121 decimal 8.
Turn right Whiskey 8, contact ground 118, Global 8570, good day.
Good day. First Air 1332, revised maintain flight level 250, altitude restriction cancelled.
Altitude restriction 250, Fast Air 1332.
First Air 1332, that's correct, no restriction.
Roger, no restriction, Fast Air 1332.
First Air 1332, hold, stop immediately. First Air 1332, stop immediately.
Now we are focusing on here. At 18:42:30, the tower cancelled altitude restriction, and it's only 1 second after this instruction that the captain of Fast Air 1332 advanced the thrust lever for takeoff. Second officer only read back altitude restriction 250, and controller thought it was insufficient readback, so he retransmitted cancellation of altitude restriction. So how could we have avoided this incident? If the second officer was sure that the aircraft was clear for takeoff, he should have read it back accordingly, but he only mentioned the cancellation of altitude restriction. So step 4 was incomplete. If he wasn't sure that he received takeoff clearance, then he should have stopped the captain, or at least he should have confirmed the takeoff clearance with the controller. So step 2 is incomplete. Since the captain, the pilot flying, thought that aircraft was clear for takeoff, he should have ordered the second officer, who did not clearly read back that they were taking off, to confirm the takeoff clearance. So step 5 was obviously skipped. And the worst thing here is that the captain started takeoff roll only 1 second after the controller issued cancellation of altitude restriction. Other crew member had no chance to verbally verify their clearance. So step 7, completely skipped. First officer in the right seat did not have a chance to stop the captain either. We had a look at 5 serious incidents today. All of them were runway incursions. Almost every time serious incidents like these occurred, Japan Civil Aviation Bureau took measures like improving pilot control glossary or introducing runway entrance lights and takeoff hold lights. But if you remember the shell model by Frank H. Hawkins, Civil Aviation Bureau can only change S and H part of the shell model, software and hardware. And it is liveware-liveway interface where pilot controller communication error happens. As long as I know, there is only one measure that can be taken to improve this liveware-liveware interface. That is strict adherence to communication procedure. then which part of this communication loop procedure has to be improved? Here I summarized what went wrong in the 5 incidents we just had a look at. The steps obviously skipped are shown with black triangles, and the steps that seems to be skipped are shown with white triangles. In many cases, step 2, independent comprehension, step 4, readback, and step 5, hearback by PM tend to be skipped and by the pilots, and step 6, hearback, tend to be skipped by the controller. And step 2 may have something to do with inappropriate cockpit culture or trans-cockpit authority gradient. On the other hand, step 4, 5, and 6, here, readback, hearback, can be improved from your next flight by just calming yourself down, because it's influenced by time pressure. Now let's go to conclusion. The pilot flying and pilot monitoring should comprehend instruction independently. If one of the 2 pilots thinks instruction is unclear, confirm. Pilot flying should monitor the readback by pilot monitoring. If the readback differs from what the pilot flying thought, order pilot monitoring to confirm it with controller. And controller should hear back the readback from pilot, even if he or she is busy thinking about what to say next to the other aircraft. If readback is unclear, request the readback again, or just retransmit the instruction. Especially when it comes to an international airport, air traffic control is a trans-cultural communication under extreme time pressure. So it is quite natural that someone makes a mistake. But some other person should become aware of it and correct it, otherwise fatal accident like Tenerife will happen again. This number of aircraft flying is growing year to year. In other words, the further we deviate from a standard procedure, the more likely an accident will happen. Thank you for watching.